Hello and welcome to this webinar series exploring the main findings and themes in creating our future, the Australia Council's recent report on the findings from the 4th National Arts Participation Survey. My name is Lena Stein and I'm a research associate here at the Australia Council for the Arts. To visually describe myself, I'm a woman with tan skin and dark hair, wearing a mustard coloured jumper, and I'm sitting in front of a wood and glass cupboard with some crockery inside. I'd like to begin by acknowledging the Aboriginal people, the traditional owners of the land which I'm coming to you from today, and pay my respects to elders past, present and emerging. And I'd also like to acknowledge the many nations throughout Australia that we're gathering from, and all First Nations people present and online in this session. So the National Arts Participation Survey, which began in 2009, is undertaken every 3 to 4 years by the Australia Council for the Arts, exploring Australians' engagement with and attitudes towards the arts and creative activity. And one of the main themes in creating our future shows that Australia's arts and creativity are among our nation's most powerful assets and will play a critical role in Australia's future. The results find that Australians increasingly recognise the value of arts and creativity in the lives and education of children and young people. In line with a growing body of evidence that identifies creative skills as essential to workforces of the future, the research finds that Australians agree that building creative skills will be necessary for the future workforce. Previous research by the Australia Council has also shown the arts to be powerful drivers for regional, domestic and international tourism, and Australians' strong and growing engagement with arts festivals and events prior to COVID-19 highlights the critical role for the arts in reinvigorating tourism and our economy. And these findings support other research and data on the value of the arts and creativity to our economy and future. We know that cultural and creative activity contributes 111.7 billion to Australia's economy. The recently released report on the Sydney Opera House's Creative Leadership in Learning program provides extensive evidence to the benefits of creativity in schools. And the arts have been shown to be a drawcard for tourists, increasing visitation and economic activity, both in metropolitan and regional areas. So here to explore this topic today is Kristen Cornell, Research Fellow and Manager of Research Partnerships here at the Australia Council, along with Mike Saxon, Principal at Liverpool Boys High School. We have Cameron Costello, CEO of the Quandamooka Yoolooburrabee Aboriginal Corporation, and Tia Bauman, who's the Acting Director of Capacity Building at the Australia Council and founder of tech company Metaverse Makeovers. Before I hand you over to Kristen to lead the discussion, I'd just like to give you a brief overview of some key statistics that will be relevant to today's discussion. So young Australians in particular value the arts and are highly engaged. So 4 in 5 attend and 2 in 3 creatively participate. 73% of Australians agree that the arts should be an important part of education. 63% agree that the arts and creativity impact child development. 62% agree that the arts impact our ability to think creatively and develop new ideas. 1 in 2 agree that the arts have a big or very big impact on building creative skills that will be necessary for the future workforce. 1 in 8 attend the arts specifically to develop skills for education, training or work. And 41% agree that the arts are vital in bringing customers to local businesses. So also just a quick note before we begin, if you'd like to ask a question of our panel today, please feel free to start sending through any questions to the specific Q&A box on Zoom. We'll have some time at the end to answer some of these. The chat function is also there for you to use for general discussion throughout, but we'll be taking questions from the Q&A box. And onto that, thank you, Kristen.
Thank you very much, Lena. So as Lena said, I work in the research team at the Australia Council for the Arts, and that's where I'm speaking to you from today. So the Australia Council offices are on Gadigal country, and this is the office which I'm in right now. I am a woman with fair skin, a fringe, a black cardigan, and there's a blue picture behind me. And I thought it would be good to begin the discussion today with a little kind of self-introduction from our three speakers. So perhaps beginning with Mike and then moving through to Tia and Cameron, could you just give us a quick introduction to the work that you do and the ways in which you see arts and creativity playing a role in that?
Thanks, Kristen. I'm Mike Saxon. I'm principal at Liverpool Boys High School. Liverpool is a suburb of southwest Sydney, very multicultural place, 60 different cultural groups, and typically low socioeconomic, but a very vibrant and growing city in Liverpool. If you haven't been to Liverpool for a long time, you wouldn't recognise. It's full of skyscrapers and cranes and everything like that. We do a lot of work around creativity, particularly with the Opera House, and we were quite instrumental with some of the creative leadership and learning work. And part of that work was creating a program we called Takeover in the school, where we just took over the school literally for 3 weeks, 100 kids, and we did creative exercises with those kids, and they produced wonderful products at the end. So I'm a firm believer of the power of creativity in schools. I'll stop there and let Thea pick it up.
Yeah, thank you, because we'll definitely come back to that. Tia.
Hi, everybody. My name is Tia Bauman, and I'm connecting from Gadigal land in the Eora Nation. I am a woman in my late 30s. I'm Eurasian, and I am sitting in my apartment, which is has some white walls and a sliding door behind me, and I'm wearing a black t-shirt. So it's wonderful to be here today. So I am an artist, and I'm a creative technologist, and I'm an inventor. So I guess for me, I'm very interested in how to commercialize emerging technologies. And I guess my area of specialty sits in augmented reality and virtual reality. So I will talk a little bit about some of the inventions that I've brought to market, one of them being Metaverse Nails, which is a hologram fashion product. Thanks.
Thank you, Tia. Cameron.
Yeah, Yura, hello, everyone. Cameron Costello, the CEO of the Quandamooka Yoolooburrabee Aboriginal Corporation. We're the native title body for the Quandamooka people, which Quandamooka means Moreton Bay, and Yoolooburrabee means people of the sand and sea. Pay my respects. I'm on at Loda at Wynnum on Quandamooka country, so pay my respects to my ancestors and elders past, present, emerging, where we all meet. I'm 47 now, and so male, 47, tan complexion, balding head, and I've got a blue and white checked shirt with our kayak logo on there, which has our 2 totems, the dolphin, Buingan, and the carpet snake, Kabul. And I'm in my bedroom at the moment. I've got my teak furniture in the background with a beautiful Aron Meeks artwork from he's a far north Queensland Aboriginal artist in the background as well. So my role is the CEO for our native title body. We got our land rights recognised over Minjerribah, which is North Stradbroke Island, in 2011, which has been the catalyst for so many things for our people. We manage the national parks, we manage the campgrounds, so tourism accommodation, and for drive permitting. We are progressing language centre. We're progressing arts and cultural activities through an education and training hub, and also we've got the Quandamooka Festival we commenced, which is celebrating country, culture, and people. Would have been its 6th year this year, and we're building a cultural centre on the island as well. So arts and culture plays a major factor in our post, where mining finished on the island in 2019, and the post-mining era is around sustainable tourism, and the creative arts and cultural space is going to be a critical area for us driving forward, for not only especially for our young people.
Thank you, Cameron. Thank you, everybody, for those introductions. There's a lot more to come back to and discuss in more detail. Perhaps to begin, though, We could talk a little bit about the role of creativity in education and in the development of future skills. So I might put this first question to the school principal, Mike Saxon at Liverpool Boys High. Mike, could I ask, from your perspective, what are some of the effects of using arts and creativity in schools?
Oh, look, arts and creativity have been in schools for a very long time. But they're typically sideline's the wrong word, but they're typically put into a curriculum area, and students do a limited range of that as a compulsory thing. And then those who consider themselves arty would choose to go into those sorts of areas. And there's this fake belief in some quarters that creativity you either have or you don't. And that's utter rubbish. It's a skill. And it's something that you can be taught, and it's something that you can learn. So the role of the school is, I think, really to expand on that and to make sure that we're giving kids lots of opportunities to learn how to be creative. Anyone who has gone through any kind of creative process knows just how much hard work it is to be creative and to bring that creative idea to a reality and to actually create either the product or the process or whatever it is that you're trying to achieve with that creative endeavor. So one of the greatest skills I think it brings is resilience. At our school, we're all about teaching capabilities rather than content knowledge. Content knowledge is no longer important in that, as important as it was in society. Obviously, you have to have content knowledge, but it's the skills you develop, and creativity is the pinnacle of those skills, because that's the one where to be really creative, you've got to be a good collaborator. You've got to be good at communication. You've got to be good at all these other skills. But I think of what I see in our boys when we do creative programs is two things: a wonderful sense of accomplishment that I can do these things, and that really builds confidence, and that really builds engagement and learning in a whole range of areas. And the other one, which is complementary, is resilience. Because when you go through a creative process, there's always this space where you go, I don't know what the hell to do anymore. And you've got to be able to push through that. And it builds a deep resilience that the kids can use throughout their lives. I think it's an absolutely critical skill in schools.
So it sounds like from what you're saying, your arguments for using arts and creativity in the curriculum are not only about developing right brain thinking, but developing skills for life.
Yeah, without a doubt. So there's certain thinking processes, but we had kids in our takeover program that I mentioned whose focus was around, was commerce. They like selling things. They want to run a business. So they worked on that, and they had to be creative at the way they marketed and sold that business. So that's a different form of creativity than you would typically think associated with the arts, but it's still a creativity. So that skill is absolutely essential in all aspects of life and of course in learning.
Thanks, Mike. Cameron, would you have anything to add about the importance of arts and culture within education from the point of view of young people within your both regional and First Nations community?
Yeah, it's really is one of our major themes that we're focused on. So I guess the starting point for us has been Anya Drew Noonuckle, her words from the Song of Hope, which is to our fathers, the pain of sorrow, to our children's children, the glad tomorrow. So that sort of underpinned a major theme from our community and organisation. So we're basically setting up the foundations for how our young people are progressing through to be leaders and educators down the track. And that's a process of linking in with our schools and our education. And we've just finished our education and training hub, and how that links into all of our major things that we're doing. So from events and cultural centres and language, these are the key things that we're looking at, creating those pathways of education for our young people to go into those creative elements. It's going to be a major feature for us. And so that focus is heavily on young people engaging through festivals at an early age, being taught by elders from a traditional knowledge perspective, but also how we partner with schools and educators to develop education and training products, which is where we're sort of heading now around a whole range of themes, whether it's culture or the environment, protection and conservation of wildlife, and things like climate change, etc. So we're actually taking a real focus on the next year or so, developing those education and training products, teachers' resources, student workbooks, where they will link in and be trained and educated on these, on the creative elements to the arts and culture. So it is a major theme for us, and a lot of our young people are actually being encouraged and engaged, particularly those that are around age 10, through the year 10 to 12, like they're the MC, becoming the MCs of our festivals and becoming part of the events management teams. And so we're actively engaging in that space with our young people. We know that they are going to be the real change agents for us in the future. And we have a process which is a holistic process. So we have rangers who are multi-skilled in not only learning about things from the tenure of land and management of land and cultural management of land, but also then how we conduct ceremony in the arts and utilize the land appropriately for those sorts of things. So it's a holistic view, but definitely in terms of education, there's the curriculum that you learn at school, but also our practical and traditional knowledge and education through language revival, etc., that we're focused on as well.
Yeah, obviously culture is so embedded within the kind of social network that you're describing and the entire system, but there are similarities there with what Mike was talking about, the need to have arts and creativity embedded throughout the curriculum, a kind of holistic, as you described it.
Yeah.
I'd love now to add technology to the discussion. And Tia, I loved your description of yourself as artist, as inventor. I wonder if you're an example of somebody who has held one of these future jobs that we often think about when you think about the role of creativity in preparing young people for the future, because your work sits at this intersection of science and art. So could you tell us a little more about that work that you do and the ways in which you see the relationship between creativity and digital innovation, and what this will or perhaps already does mean for young people?
Sure. Well, I guess I've always been a little bit of an artist as a hacker and an artist as an innovator. And I guess my approach with creativity sits within an engineering space meets artistry. And I guess I'm pretty self-taught actually when it comes to using new media technologies and in the digital space. I actually went to art school, but I spent a lot of my time working out how to hack computer games and to use game engines in new and innovative ways. So I guess I'm pretty self-taught, but I guess in terms of like being an innovator in the space, I went on to commercialize some of these new augmented reality innovations. And I think there's new skills to be learned with creatives in terms of how to commercialize intellectual property and how to disseminate creative content across digital media streams. So I guess my approach really is fusing artistry and maker and hacker culture with engineering and seeing how that will play out within a commercial sphere. So yeah, my interests are quite broad when it comes to technology, but it's always been artist made and an artist first approach.
I guess this might be a question for you also from the perspective you have from working at the Australia Council. We can see that an increasing number of Australians are accessing the arts digitally. How do you think technology will influence the ways that people, and in particular young people, experience art in future? Yeah,
well, I kind of, I'm the believer that platforms and new technology products need to support the co-creative process. So looking at users not as just passive consumers of digital content or experiences, but as co-creators in the experience itself. So, I mean, for me, when I invented Metaverse Nails, it was a platform that basically an artist-made hologram would fly out of your nails, and then the user could basically choose different holograms that they want to assign to the platform. And also we were building in gaming features that would support the co-creation of hologram content. So I guess that's really how I see the kind of future of creativity and digital technology combining, is that there is no singular creator or originator. It's all becoming one, I guess, producer, consumer ecosystem. And yeah, it's a collaborative experience between the user and the innovator and inventor.
And an experience that requires creativity, clearly. That tech, a lot of people say that in a future world with artificial intelligence, the human creative contribution will be like this premium product, that it's human creativity that will be valued in future workforces.
I think so. And also just the idea of like premium content being artist made is essential. It's like there's so much kind of cloned media or just like meme culture where there's no kind of like sense of purity in content. And I think really the artist made content will have that premium quality in the future.
Mike, in your takeover project that you were describing at the beginning that you did with the Sydney Opera House, did the students take up projects with technology in particular?
Yeah, look, some did, but typically, I mean, remembering we were dealing with kids from the age of 12 to 16. So they jumped into technologies they're familiar with. So there were groups of kids who were right into doing Minecraft. So they were using that to build different worlds, to express themselves and to solve different questions and things like that. We weren't pushing them in any way whatsoever. It was about them exploring what they were interested in and to come up with solutions that really they were excited about and that they could explore. One of the projects we ran with the Opera House though was we had we've really deliberately tried to get this idea that creativity is the domain simply of art, music and drama. It certainly is, but it's much broader. So one of the projects we ran last year, as well as the takeover, was we took the coding club and we asked them to have and said, all right, you need to put on a performance at the Opera House and you've got this 4-week block to do that. And they ended up doing a virtual reality piece and designed a student-run school of the future, which was quite bizarre, a little bit dangerous, but put on this wonderful play on the Opera House stage. And that was an amazing experience. I laughed the whole way through it. And that was our group of nerds. So, those boys were incredibly creative, but they had a wonderful teaching artist to help guide them through. So it's that co-creation of the art with an artist. But here are a group of boys that you would have called the nerds of the school, doing some amazing creativity. So absolutely, there's this connection there that always has been. With whatever the new technology is, it's often the artists who are pushing the boundaries around what it can do. And that's something that we need to recognise and value.
Totally. The coding club is creative.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Look, I'm a maths teacher by background, and I would always argue maths is a creative process.
I actually find it almost insulting, right, to STEM, to take the A out of it. Of course, STEM is also creative, to separate the arts and creativity from this thing, which is apparently, supposedly exclusive, misunderstands this idea of artists as inventors.
Yeah, look, absolutely. When we did the takeover project, we brought our entire executive team, all the head teachers from every area were the teachers running it. We didn't pick those who were naturally creative, or the art teacher and the drama teacher, the science teacher, the maths teacher, the language, or legal studies, etc. We're all there because we're all creative. And to get to explore, as the Opera House program calls it, the fertile unknown, which is just a beautiful term to say, well, that's where creativity happens, when you take time. And I think that's one of the challenges in a school context, is we built the time. And that's what you've got to do to make creativity really flourish in a school.
The fertile unknown is also, it's quite a beautiful phrase, because it also suggests that we don't know what the future brings too.
Absolutely.
And creativity can help us face the future with an experimental and creative approach. And at this point, I'm going to fold kind of future economies, I suppose, into the discussion and ask Cameron, you mentioned in your introduction a little about the importance of arts and culture, and presumably arts tourism, for regional economies, particularly with a transition from primary economies, such as mining or agriculture. Could you talk a little bit more about how you see that relationship between arts, culture and tourism in your area, and perhaps for regional Australia more generally?
Yeah, and one of my other roles is a board member of the Queensland Tourism Industry Council. I'm the deputy chair of that, which is the peak industry body for tourism. So Quandamooka country, Moreton Bay, for us, I think the starting point for us is it's a cultural and wildlife sanctuary. And so for us, we're wanting to look at a post-mining economy, which is around a global eco-cultural tourism destination based on the foundations of culture, sustainability, innovation, and research. For me, from a tourism perspective, the arts is intertwined heavily within that. So my previous role was with Arts Queensland and working on the Back Indigenous Arts program for Far North Queensland. And to me, tourism and arts are intertwined. They're linked. And so as we progress into the future economy for our island, the arts and culture is a major feature of our economy. And it's interesting because we're actually interweaving it with all of our operations. So it's intertwined in our accommodation services in campgrounds. So how we integrate the arts and culture into the design of and the interior design of our campgrounds, which reflects our culture. In our national parks, how we'll be using arts and creativity to educate people coming in and to have a authentic Indigenous experience. We've got placemakers. So when you talked about the future, addressing the unknown future, we're also addressing the past, and with re-establishing Quandamooka people's connection with country and educating the broader community about that through place markers, public artworks, etc., which become those part of the economy, those tourism selfie shots in front of Indigenous public artwork. This all feeds into the economy. And so across a number of industries, the creativity is being intertwined. So the design of our buildings and our cultural whale facility will be integrated into there. So we use our artists and have artist reference groups for all of our major infrastructure projects at the moment, because artists' creativity is actually creating this uniqueness, which I guess touches on what Tia was saying before about the creativity and the artist, the authentic product. Having an artist group in the design of buildings, in the design of our tours, and our festivals gives us a point of difference that creates a desire and a demand amongst tourists and amongst even, I guess, people want to live in an area where there is creativity, because it actually enhances socially for people. So we're very focused on the culture and the arts driving our economy. So it's no secret that that's what we want to do, and our tourism product will reflect that.
Thank you, Cameron. A lot of interest in that, that people want to live in a place where there is creativity. And I also thank you for reminding us in the discussion that arts and creativity are also for remembering, as you said. They help us remember who we are as well as imagine who we could be. I think at this point we have a few questions, so I'll hand it back to Lena and she can share some of those.
Thanks, Kristen. Yeah, we've got quite a few questions coming through. So we'll just take a pause to address some of those. So the first question I think sort of ties in with what Tia was speaking about, and they're asking, with digital streaming becoming the norm, will investment be pooled into creating Australia's own digital streaming platforms to ensure intellectual property and revenue streams are legally protected for Australian arts and cultural sector workers? Tia, do you have any thoughts on that one?
Well, it's a big topic. I mean, I think for me, I've always been interested in creating virtual marketplaces. So with Metaverse, it was essentially a marketplace where you could buy, trade, and share hologram content. And I really feel like there is potential in Australia engineering and developing new platforms where content can be monetized in new ways, whether that's through streaming or other sorts of subscription models or other kind of like ways of trading content or buying content. So yes, I do think there's a lot of potential in a platform for Australian content. It's just how we design it and how we conceive it and how we can position it with other global markets.
Thank you. Kristen, do you want to ask one, or should we take turns?
Okay, I have a question here that begins with a positioning statement. So there's a strong emphasis on education and the arts coming through the data. For decades, we've been doing research on the clear benefits of arts, creativity, and education for children and communities. We need to build a strong workforce and regular presence of arts in our schools and communities. But how can we increase the resources for these important activities in our schools and communities? Is it a question of partnerships? What do you think, Mike, or perhaps Cameron or Tia has a response as well?
Look, I think that's a really critical question. We chose as a school to spend our resources on creativity. And you know, and we get massive benefits for our kids by doing so. So one of the, you need to be able to influence mindsets of people who actually have the money, like school principals, so that they value creativity and put their resources there. The partnerships are absolutely critical, and deep partnerships. We've been working with the Opera House for 4 years now, and you know, we get to a point where we can run a pretty radical program like Takeover because we have a deep relationship with those teaching artists and we trust each other. I literally handed the keys to a group of teaching artists on a Friday afternoon and said, let's see what happens to that building on Monday morning. And it was completely and utterly transformed over the weekend. I just let go and trust. So, you know, that partnerships come from that perspective. It would be lovely to see the money flowing into teaching creativity in schools and moving beyond just simply the word art in the curriculum. How you actually achieve, I'm really not sure. There certainly is a role here for major donors to really get in and support this work. And I think there's a role for partnerships. Cameron, I would love to be the school round the corner from you. I can think of 20 projects every time you speak that we could do together, not just in the arts, but certainly building those creativities. So for organisations like Cameron's to really reach out to their local schools and grab us and beat us around the head and convince us that this is essential and not tokenise it into, you know, the Year 8 art program or something out, but actually make it valued work that we value. You talk about some of the MCs you've had at your festivals, the leadership, the things they've learned there far outweigh what they learn in their classroom. So how do we actually value that and give kids recognition for that? They're the kind of partnerships, then the depth of partnerships we've got to kind of create where the creativity and the art exist.
Yeah, and I think there's still an issue in Australia about valuing creativity and the arts. Like, it's clear to me that there is still that struggle for the arts sector. And even in Queensland, I'd say, you know, you just have to see where the money flows. And even with tourism as a sector itself doesn't get much money in Queensland when you look at the budgets that happen, but the arts is even less. And I just, you know, because I'm not in a government body, I can be critical and say you just had to look at the issues around JobKeeper for artists. The value of our arts sector is still way lower than what it should be, and that requires governments to value the arts more and creativity more, and they need to step up. And for me, it's very clear the role that the arts sector, the creative sector, plays in the benefits not only for individual artists but the benefits for the whole community, and what the arts plays and what it plays in the economy. So we need to keep continually fighting and advocating for recognising the importance of the arts and creative sector, and it does start in, like, we need to have it ingrained in our education system in a whole range of different means and ways, and we're not there yet, and we need to really push that forward. The partnerships you talk about are critical, and I think, you know, there are some potential pilot projects out there that can be game changers that link into education, partnerships and technology, particularly focusing for me around Indigenous, embedding Indigenous perspectives into the curriculum. We're hoping to really push that in the next couple of years, that utilises technological VR platforms, etc., that we create products, authentic Indigenous products, that are localised, that work with community and educate community, and get both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal people involved in using those technological platforms to create and license out products that provide a revenue back to communities, but also are used as an educational tool for within schools to assist teachers, etc. So I think there's these opportunities. I think there's a lot of that's sitting there, but we need some leadership. We need governments to start valuing the arts more.
Can I just, in terms of interacting with schools, it's really important to be working through the bureaucracy and the governmental processes, but that will not go very far. What works is local organisations approaching their local schools and vice versa. That's what actually works. And forget the bureaucracy. They're too big and cumbersome, and their priorities are elsewhere, unfortunately. So I would really encourage anyone who's watching who is a local arts group, or, you know, has any sort of connection around creativity, is approach your local, particularly, I'm a government school, I'm always going to push government schools, your local government school, and see what you can do together, and build those partnerships yourself. We love that work.
Thank you. I've got a question here that sort of, I think, ties in with what you've been saying, but from the perspective of young people. And the question is, I would like to know what Mike and Cameron notice in young people as they participate in these activities and collaborations. What do young people say about who or / what they are? What is the understanding of what a creative or an artist is? So I think that's from the perspective of young people.
Mike, you go.
Yeah. Really good question. The first answer I get is that we know kids having fun and are engaged in learning and in creativity. I'm thinking of some of our boys, and they say, you know, these are the best moments of my life, and particularly some of our boys who have pretty troubled backgrounds, that this is an area where all of a sudden they can excel, because they're allowed to explore a creative journey, and they're not constrained, often for the first time, not just educationally, but in a whole range of areas. So you see that enormous uplift and growth in the moment, and that's lovely. But what is much more heartening to see is that longer term impact, as they carry that confidence and resilience that a deep creative process can bring them. Not all of them, but certainly I could tell you stories of a dozen kids where you see that change in them because they've gone through a big creative process.
Yeah, and I agree, for young people, it is about the development of them as a person, and it is about resilience. It is about their professional development, their leadership growth. but also how they interact and with others is really important. So they get the opportunity for us, for our young people, they're getting to interact through our festivals, etc., with people who would be their mentors or people they aspire to be. So they're talking to Jessica Mowboy, or they're on the same stage, or they're interacting, and they get to meet with that. And they also get to engage and learn from their elders as well. So most of our young people see it as an opportunity for them to professionally grow, but also for them to learn and have access to the knowledge and mentorship of others, and they will grow through that. So they, it's really good to see them over a number of years, how they progress into young adults, and the skills that they've obtained, how we become we're just a stepping stone for them into their career and their pathway, and seeing them move up and beyond, and then they start winning awards, and they look back at the opportunity for utilising what we put in place, which essentially what we're trying to do is create the environment for them to flourish and put things in place for them to flourish. So we put these education platforms and these creative platforms for them to come through, and that and seeing them come through is there, but having them come back and acknowledge that, that's even better.
Do we have time for one more question, Lena? Or
I think we do. There's one here that I think is really interesting, and it's about memes. Yeah, so I'll just ask it and see where we go. So it's about memes as lacking purity, as opposed to making something more artisanal. This question asker says, I personally think memes are a really important frontier in art making. Could you talk a bit more about that distinction from your perspective? And just quickly, I find that really, really interesting, because memes are a huge part, meme culture is a huge part of the way young people do engage with those creativity. Do you have any thoughts about that, Tia?
Yeah, well, I do agree. I think memes are the new frontier of expression. I think it's definitely a format and medium that we need to keep an eye on, because it's definitely the way ideas are being disseminated and virality is spread. So it's, I guess in terms of how I always viewed meme culture, is that in terms of the creation of Metaverse Nails, it was very much a meme machine, but it was the physical platform that the content sprang out of that was sits in this space of like craftsmanship. So we had designers designing patterns on the nails that would trigger hologram content to fly out of, that you could share, snap and share. So I guess that was that kind of fusion between this media that is so easily replicable and a physical product that we had to manufacture in China. That was essentially like where I'm kind of looking at that tension between the artisanal or artist-made products and a digital platform that sits alongside it. So where are the kind of interactions that lie between the physical and the digital? But I definitely think meme culture is an area that we need to be keeping an eye on. There's so much like creativity embedded in it, and yeah, it's so embedded in social dynamics and social culture as well.
Thanks, Tia. I think we're just about out of time right now. I'm so sorry for that we didn't get to all of your questions, but thank you so much for joining us today. If you would like your questions to be answered, or if there's any burning comments that you'd like to make, please feel free to send them through to the email address on screen. So that's the research inquiries at Australia Council email address. The full report of Creating Our Future is available on the Australia Council for the Arts website, as well as the individual spotlight reports. We'll be taking a short break from this webinar series, and then we'll conclude with the final 2 spotlights early next year. I just want to say a huge thanks to Tia, Mike, Cameron and Kristen for this awesome discussion. I've really enjoyed it and learnt a lot. So thank you to them, and thank you to all of you who listened, watched and participated in this really valuable discussion. See you.
Thank you.
Elena.
Bye.
Peace.